So I did want to go over a couple things before I actually officially start the video. And this is a little different, but I kind of wanted to just explain what I'm doing with all of this, because a couple people were asking, like, what my plan is. Not in a, like, what the heck are you doing, kid? Not that kind of stuff, but so what I'm doing with this channel is more or less a culmination of my obsession with film and my love of bicycles. I have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to bicycles, so it was an easy topic for me to pick to cover. But film has always been a big part of my life as well. I was the kid that at 12 years old was watching the director commentary, learning how they did this stuff. So I've got this backlog of info that I need to get out. I really wanted to put this in here because at the start of a lot of the videos, we goof around, we make like a short microfilm. Most of them suck, but it's more or less us having fun with the camera. I'm learning how to, do the After Effects, that sort of thing, chopping my finger off. And then I had people asking me, can you just show how to change a tube the correct way? So I kind of thought I needed to regress to that. Keith was injured. I figured I should cut my finger off and we should just do a tube video. So let's get to it. So I was fixing up an old bike the other day.
What's that?
Ooh.
And just change some tubes?
Yeah. For this video, I am going to show more of a roadside version of how to do this, since that's the majority of the time when you're going to be changing out your tubes, unless you're just changing tires. So this is going to operate the same for mountain bikes and tubeless. The only thing you're going to do separately for a tubeless bicycle is you have to remove the valve that's already in there. Make sure you do that. Obviously, you can't put a tube in if you don't have the valve out. So make sure you get that out. So things you will need. Obviously, you're going to need a new tube. You're going to need some tire levers. That's really it, and strong thumbs for a lot of these tires. So if you're on the side of the road, I typically try to put my bike upside down if I'm by myself. Makes things a lot easier. If not, make sure you just lay it drive side up. First thing you want to do, you want to shift it into the hardest gear possible in the back. That's going to give you the maximal amount of room to take the wheel out. All right. So a lot of bikes have through axles now. I'm still running quick release on this TCR. All right, so a good pointer when you're taking this out, after you've got it shifted all the way into the hardest gear possible, you're going to take, this is how I do it, and I think it makes it super easy. Take your finger, put it here on the knuckle so you can move it back and forth, and then there's this tab on the back of the actual derailleur hanger. You're going to push up like so and pull back all at the same time. So while you're doing that, you got full control over what the derailleur's doing. You're gonna lift the wheel right out. That's all there is to that. Before you start to actually try to take this off with your tire levers, right now this thing is still stuck in the bead. This is also a tubeless rim, although I'm running tubes and a clincher tire on it. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to break the bead all the way around, and that is going to make your life so much easier. It doesn't really matter where you start. Take both your thumbs, push in as hard as you can. You'll hear a little pop. You want to do that all the way around said rim. Do the other side. So sometimes, depending on how tight the tire is on here, you'll have to use tire levers. Some mountain bike tires are pretty loose, so you don't have to. You're just getting the thing off. The easiest thing to do though is keep one side on. It's just less work. So you want to take your tire lever. The reason they have these hooks, if the tire is being extremely difficult to get off, what you can do, you take one tire lever, you hook it, and then you take your second tire lever and get it under the bead, and you start working your way around. Now, I'm gonna pop this back on so you can see. So I don't typically have to do that anymore for these things. Pop this back on. what I tend to do, just using one, they've got nice thumb grooves in them. Just take it, get that thing off. You want to put it on the ground, let gravity help you, and just push down with all your might and you'll get it off. And that was a big diesel truck. And that is how you take off one half of the tire. So take this guy out. All right, now that you have your old tube, what you seriously want to do with this thing is you want to make sure where the hole is at, what gave you the flat tire. So check around it. If I'm in the bike shop, I usually fill it full of air. That's the easiest way to find a hole, but you just want to make sure there's not some huge slit, piece of glass, something like that you need to get out of your tire. If you just willy-nilly throw another one in there, you're going to get another flat. Put this on your back. Don't just leave it on the side of the road. Take your new tube, which you're probably going to have on your back or on your saddlebag. Unroll that bad boy. Next important step, put a little bit of air in it. It's got to keep its shape. If you just leave it completely deflated, it can twist and it can get pinched in there. This makes it so much easier. Just blow on it. Stick the valve in said hole. Put the tube all the way in. Get it nice and tucked in. Now you're going to want to start from the valve when you're putting on a tire. Trust me, it's just going to make it a lot easier. All you do at this point is you take both of your thumbs and you're going to work evenly around till you get to the other end. Now what I typically have to do, I'll work my way around one bit, and if you see on this side some of the tube's poking out, you need to take it and shove it back in there. You want to make sure the tube is not poking out. You get to the end and try with all your might to not use any tire tools when you're putting on the final bit. This will ensure that you're not going to pinch it. There is kind of an art to using tire tools right at the end to not pinch it, and it's very easy to get another flat tire. Work your way on. Another very good tip, see how this one is being kind of a pain to get on that last little bit. Sometimes it can go ahead and get in the bead somewhere else on here, so if you're having trouble, start back at the valve. Yep. Pop the bead back in. That's going to give you the maximal amount of tire to work with. Then you just manhandle it. Yeah. All right. So if you have CO2, you've got one shot at this. Maybe a few shots if you bring extra. So what you really want to do beforehand, I usually go through, check the bead, and make sure the tube is not showing at all. If the tube is showing in the bead, if you can see the tube at all when you put that CO2 in, it's going to explode. I have my CO2 here. Inflate this sucker. All right. So after you have CO2'd the crap out of it and it's ready to go, I usually give it one spin, make sure the bead's all the way set. Sometimes the CO2s won't be able to put enough air in it to get the bead set, but I at least like to know that before I put it back on the bike, as you'll start bumping after. Now it's time to put it back on. Same as before, just in reverse. I usually get it started. Take your finger and your thumb. You may have to get a little dirty. I try not to. But as long as you're pulling back and pushing that up with your thumb, it'll fall right in. Make sure to put your quick release in the optimal aero position so you can catch back up to the group. Just shift it into a gear that you can pedal before you flip it back over. That way you're not in the hardest gear on the bike when you're trying to pedal this thing. There you have it, guys. That is how you change a tube on the side of the road, the quick and easy way. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to do this video. I've seen too many people struggle with the simple act of putting a tire on. It is not difficult as you see, but there are some things that make life so much easier. So yeah, I'm gonna hope to see you guys early next week.